Well, Saturday turned out to be exactly how we thought it would be. Maybe not breaking school records, but an absolute domination. Tennessee hammers ETSU. Complete reaction starts now.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into it. This is your post-game podcast following Tennessee's 72-17 win over ETSU. I'm Cain. Thanks so much for being here and making Locked On Vols a part of your morning routine, your first listen, your first watch each and every single day. This might be Sunday morning when you're listening to this. Maybe it's late on a Saturday night, but did want to get something out there for you before we rejoin our podcast on Monday morning. So just giving you some instant reactions to what Tennessee just accomplished over ETSU. The good, the bad, the ugly, all that and more, because we know what's coming up next. It is the Georgia Bulldogs coming up next weekend, 3:30 Eastern Time, right here at Neyland Stadium next Saturday. And, College Game Day is going to be in town. Shocker, right? College Game Day is going to be in town to take in these festivities. Appreciate you guys for being here. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We're at it Monday through Friday, and of course we got post-game shows after the Tennessee football games. That's what this one is right now. So Tennessee 72-17, the winner over ETSU. My biggest point here is, this is exactly what was supposed to happen, and this is exactly what Tennessee accomplished. Now, did I think Tennessee was going to break a program record, modern era, of 72 points scored in a game? No. Did I think Tennessee was going to break a program record, modern era, first downs in a game? No. They got 41 first downs. I didn't think Tennessee was going to break two program records on offense in this game, but I thought Tennessee was going to win pretty handily. I thought Tennessee was going to handle business, accomplish what it set out to accomplish, because when you play an opponent like ETSU, and again, this is no disrespect to ETSU, it's just the nature of the beast, right? This is an FBS SEC program going up against an FCS team from the Southern Conference. This is what is supposed to happen. And Tennessee just came out of the gate firing, just beat the crap out of them there in the first quarter, first half. And I thought something early on in this game, specifically for Tennessee on the offensive end, it really stemmed from special teams. Boo Carter and how Tennessee is so thin in the defensive backfield, how Tennessee can't afford another injury in the defensive backfield. So a lot of people were saying, well, why is Boo even returning punts anymore? Well, I think the first quarter showed you, and I recognize this is just East Tennessee State, I get it, but Boo Carter is an absolute game breaker. 3 of his punt returns in the first quarter led to 17 points for Tennessee. One was at the 20. One was a gain of 34 up to the 27. The other was a return of 40 yards down to the 4-yard line. The other put Tennessee at the plus 49. It was phenomenal. Flipping the field, changing the game's perspective, and that's why Boo Carter is so unique and so such a dynamite weapon, an asset, if you will, for Tennessee. And when you're going in a game like this against Georgia next week, when we'll see what that line looks like over at FanDuel, but I would assume Tennessee's probably going to be a home dog. You're looking for any avenue that you can, try to create an advantage. And certainly Boo Carter creates an advantage for you on this team. And I thought he was just huge in the first quarter of this football game. So I thought Joey Aguilar looked pretty good. We'll go over some stats here in a moment, but I thought Joey Aguilar did pretty good. Second straight game where I think his receivers, boy, if you catch them, man, his stat line looks even better. More yards, higher completion percentage, more completions. But overall, I still thought he had a really, really solid football game. Threw the jump ball to Mike Matthews down the field. I saw a bunch of tweets, and it just F it, Mike down there somewhere, right? I thought that was really funny. And that jump ball, and it turned out to be a jump ball between him and Braylon Staley. But Mike Matthews came down with it, and that was the explosive play. 54 yards, I think is what it was. Got it right here. Let's see here. 53 yards. 53 yards is what that explosive play was. So I thought Joey Aguilar, yet again, had a really solid day. He threw one football that was in harm's way. Outside of that, man, I think he's had a very strong open to his Tennessee career. Good, strong 2 games. Next week's going to be a different challenge. I recognize that. On the ground game, again, I think it's pretty evident. I'm a Peyton Lewis believer, okay? I like Peyton Lewis. I think Peyton Lewis is going to be good. But I think through 2 games, it's pretty evident that 18 and 9 are seeing the football or seeing the run lanes a whole lot better. Deshaun Bishop only got 3 carries in the first half, yet had like 68 yards. I mean, he broke off a run of 50 or whatever there on that first drive. I mean, he's seeing the football really well. Had a couple of drops, though, and made the comment earlier in the week that he wasn't here to look good, so he doesn't wear gloves, but had a couple of drops, and yeah, gloves needed. Gloves were needed, so maybe he'll go back to the gloves, but Deshaun Bishop's looking really good. And what more can you say about Star Thomas? I mean, goodness gracious, like, Star Thomas had a hat trick in the first half. I mean, like what in the world's going on here, right? Like, Star Thomas has been everything you want and more in this backfield for Tennessee. So I thought that was really, really cool. Offensive line, again, David Sanders Jr. didn't play. Again, will he make his debut against Georgia this week? We'll see. It feels like Josh Heupel's kind of perturbed every time we ask him about it. It feels like the medical staff is making this decision, and they don't want to have any long-term issues with David Sanders. I think he's been a game-time decision each of the last 2 weeks, right? And so I think it's just, does he practice this week? How does he respond from this injury? But it's a pretty tough spot to be in if you make your debut against Georgia. Doesn't mean he won't. Now, maybe he's available and he doesn't start. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, and of course we'll talk about it all this week. But very unfortunate David Sanders Jr. didn't get to play in this football game again. But anyway, I mean, this offensive line, no complaints so far. No sacks allowed. I don't have it in front of me in terms of the TFLs for ETSU. There was a couple. Now, there was a couple of TFLs with the second, third strings in for sure. But, I mean, we'll get to it here in a moment with the stats, but goodness gracious, Tennessee had over 700 yards total offense. I mean, it's hard to complain about this offensive line, and I recognize this is an FCS opponent. I get it, but it's hard to complain about this offensive line with Jesse Perry technically playing out of position, if you will. Defensively, didn't get a lot of sacks, got a couple. Joshua Josephs nearly had a safety. I can't wait to go back and watch that on the rewatch because I don't know how he was kept out of the end zone there. Tyre West got back there, and that was good to see. Tennessee needs Tyre West to step up in a massive way. Defensively, again, a couple of sacks. I think in a game like this, ETSU gets the football, out pretty quickly. Typical of a lot of teams in a game like this, trying to get the football out really, really quickly. Also, Tennessee didn't dial up any blitzes for the most part. Tennessee was pretty standard, pretty vanilla on defense, and that's what you'd expect in a game like this. So, just overall impressive. I mean, again, nothing I saw today was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Nothing surprised me. I mean, this is what these games are all about, and it's kind of a waste of time in some respects, but also you got a lot of guys that get some good work in. Jake Merklinger got a whole lot of good work in. I thought Edwin Spillman got a lot of work in that was good. Ethan Utley, Isaiah Campbell got some work in that was needed. Jordan Ross got some work. Marion Dye got a ton of work in the second half, which I thought was fantastic for him. Bennett Warren got a lot of work at offensive tackle. So, yeah, I mean, Tennessee had one turnover off a bad snap, and that was very bad by Sam Pendleton. But outside of that, really, really good game. Really, really good day. Really, really good game. Don't have a whole lot of complaints here as we come at you in a post-game podcast following Tennessee's 72-17 win over ETSU. All right, when we come back, let's check that stat sheet. Let's talk about some of those players who shined, all that and more, as we continue right now here following Tennessee's 72-17 win over ETSU. Reacting right now. You can just move through life, or you can find the things that move you. It's your choice. You can choose to get out there, choose your people. You can choose to go for it, like really, really go for it. Just choose to do something that moves you. Mazda Craft Cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. Mazda, move and be moved. Also, big shout out to our friends over at DoorDash. Man, weekend is here. Tennessee just got done playing. Time to look back at the MVP who delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players deliver when it mattered the most. Let's break it down. For Tennessee, all right, Star Thomas yet again. Second week in a row, delivered in a big way. He had the first half hat trick. Okay, he scored 3 touchdowns in the first half. Not much more I need to explain there. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, again, he had a game against Syracuse. This was no fluke. You've got Star Thomas that is truly on a streak. And just like Star Thomas delivered for Tennessee, DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You can save every Saturday your order, stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November the 18th. DoorDash. All right, guys, welcome back in here. A little post-game reaction podcast. Tennessee, a 17. No, Tennessee scored way more points than that. It was ETSU that scored 17 points. Tennessee, 72 points. Again, I'll say it again. Modern era single game record for points, 72, and first downs, 41. I mean, Tennessee was just all over the place with what it did. 717 yards of total offense. 458 yards through the air, 259 yards on the ground, slightly outdoing what it did against Syracuse and a Power 4 opponent last week, 246 yards. Penalties weren't that much of an issue. In fact, ETSU had more penalties than Tennessee. Tennessee only penalized 6 times for 45 yards, 41 first downs. ETSU had 31. Let's do the math here. 31 first downs less than Tennessee. 10 first downs. Incredible. Tennessee was 10 of 14 on third downs. ETSU was 2 of 15 on third downs. ETSU actually only 216 yards of total offense, 49 yards rushing, 167 yards passing. Tennessee ran 100 plays offensively. ETSU only 59, a lot of 3-and-outs there in the first half. Tennessee averaged 7.2 yards per play. ETSU 3.7 yards per play. Tennessee was 10 for 10 in the red zone. And my other stat sheet just fell, so I apologize there. Tennessee turned the football over one time. It was that bad snap by Sam Pendleton, which was not good whatsoever, because if I'm Tennessee's defense, I'm so pissed. I'm so frustrated. Didn't mean to say that word. I'm so frustrated because you gave ETSU first and goal at the 4, and they scored 2 plays later. It's like, man, that's going to come back and hurt my season average, right? I mean, I'd be infuriated that happened. And, well, I mean, that was a turnover caused by Tennessee that gave an incredibly short field to the Bucs. Man, Joey Aguilar, again, I thought if there wasn't a couple of drops there to begin this game, his numbers could have looked even better. He still completed 74% of his passes, 23 of 31, 288 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jake Merklinger came in, completed 9 of 14 passes, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And George McIntyre got in on the fun, 6 of 7 passing, 52 yards. Star Thomas led the way, 69 yards on 12 attempts, 3 touchdowns, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. Deshaun Bishop, 68 yards on 3 carries. That's all he did. Somebody texted me and was asking, like, why did Deshaun only get 3 carries in the first half? And I'm like, well, he busted one open, and then kind of when he was in, the way the drive was dictated, like, it's not like it was a ground and pound drive. There was just a lot of big plays, short field, stuff like that. But Deshaun Bishop looked good. Peyton Lewis, 19 yards, touchdown off 8 carries. Justin Baker, I thought, looked really good in the second half, man. So the future's deep at running back. Future's bright, 37 yards on 11 carries. DeJuan Morris, 48 yards on 9 carries. I liked about the receivers. You really had a lot of targets there to your Tennessee receivers. Fritz Brazel, you had 11 targets, 9 receptions, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty good day. Mike Matthews, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty good day. Braylon Staley, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 39 yards. Miles Kitselman was targeted 4 times. Rodarius Jackson was targeted 3 times. He had 3 receptions. Tommy Winton had 3 receptions. Travis Smith had 2 receptions. Desan Brame had 2 receptions. Joakim Dodson had a reception, 27 yards. That was great to see. Jack Van Dorsler got into the end zone. Yeah, 7-yard reception. Nice play, too. Little motion play action. Hit him in space, and I thought that looked really good. Yeah, I mean, Tennessee, the drive summary for Tennessee, this is Tennessee's drive chart. You ready? Touchdown, field goal, touchdown, punt. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown, fumble. Touchdown. That's the first half. Second half, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, end of game. So for all but, I'm not counting the end of the game series because, again, 4 plays, 22 yards. That's all she wrote. Game expired. For Tennessee possessed the football, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times. Tennessee scored points on 12 drives. It's really impressive. Meanwhile, ETSU's drive chart goes punt, turnover on downs, punt, touchdown, field goal, punt, touchdown, punt. I guess one thing that I would have liked to have saw in this game that we didn't see was some turnovers created, some takeaways. Didn't see that. That's unfortunate. But overall, guys, again, goals, get out, get in, get out, don't get hurt. Tennessee accomplished that. Explosive plays on offense, Tennessee accomplished that in a big way. We'll talk about that some more on Monday's show. Seeing some of these young guys get in there and cook, Tennessee accomplished that. Didn't get a whole lot of takeaways, and that's unfortunate. But overall, what more can you ask for? This is a game that Tennessee was supposed to dominate, and Tennessee dominated. Now, all the attention points to Tennessee and Georgia. That is coming up this week. Game day is going to be here. All eyes across the nation are going to be watching Tennessee and Georgia coming up this weekend from Neyland Stadium. Appreciate you guys for being here, watching, listening to a little instant reaction here. Locked On Vols, Tennessee, a 72-17 winner over ETSU. More to come this week on Locked On Vols. Stay tuned. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody.